Back on Once Upon a Time. This is episode 9 of season 5. Very excited as always to carry on to what's going to be happening next. Big revelations in the last one regarding exactly what Emma was planning all along. She actually made Hook into another Dark One and he kind of turned against her. So exactly where that's going to be going I think is going to be very, very interesting. So I'm excited to see that get explored a bit more. And yeah, just the standard classic trouble going around with Arthur. Zelina, she kind of gave birth after a very rushed thing. So, you know, is she going to get back to her child? What's going on with all of that? Is a lot being balanced, as there always is on Once Upon a Time. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where the focus will lie next. So let's get into the next episode.
Where do you want to go? There's something that can help us in another land. A land called...
Of course there is. Oh.
You can't be late for your own coronation.
Well, she can. Probably not wise, but she could. Oh. Oh, actually showing the dad.
I can help you, but I must warn you, it won't come cheap.
Whatever your price is, I'll pay it.
Magic always has a price.
You don't need it.
Uh-oh. Magical contracts. Read it first, mate. Oh, no. Well, okay.
Wear this helm into battle, and you'll get exactly what you want.
Oh. But doesn't he die in the battle?
True and rightful. Did you forget to invite me, dear?
Uh-oh.
What are you doing here?
Kill her!
If you don't return it by sundown tomorrow, I'll have no choice but to curse the entire kingdom.
Jesus, you could have let him know a bit further in advance.
Robberess, and all your subjects will live out the rest of their lives as bears.
It's always bears with that woman, isn't it? Like, think of something else. Sing a new song.
If the helm's lost, what are we going to do about the witch?
I didn't say it was lost.
Burn the
I just
witch.
said it wasn't here. They can't be that rough if they're writing their sweethearts back home.
Those aren't love notes, lassie. They're wills.
You think they're gonna die?
Oh.
Oh, you think I need a man to babysit me? To teach me how to fight? I'll show you.
Looks like a woman to me.
You don't need a man to teach
Mulan!
but you can learn a thing or two from me.
Oh my god, we haven't seen her for ages!
Merida.
You really think you can push us around, little lady?
Yes.
Touch me again and you lose the hand.
Okay.
But on one condition.
I was,
No more questions about me.
Ooh. Shit's gone down. I do love it when things just unexpectedly tie together like this. Hello? Oh.
If I knew where it was, I would have sent someone to fetch it for me.
Ah, is this how Merida gets back to Storybook? Because she gets entangled with all this.
I think it's time you leave. Oh no! She's me. Tell us who's looking for the helm, or you go bobbing for I am mute.
Witch fight!
This is the arrow I fired on that day, the one that just missed my father's killer.
But you didn't miss his cloak.
We can use this to find him.
Oh.
We've got to make him pay for what he did to my dad.
There's one lesson I didn't teach you the last time we were here. A true warrior doesn't let anything hurt them.
Is it because of everything with Aurora?
Too bad there'll not be any lassies for you to fight on the battlefield.
Please
Why?
kill him.
You're not going to be there, Merida.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Why not? I love my dad.
Ham doesn't seem to fit particularly
I won't
well.
wait until he has justice.
Someone's coming. It's a clever little trick. But not clever enough.
Uh-oh.
It's the only way I'll ever get my knights to stand up to Merlin and the Dark One.
No. My dad
Oh.
would never use magic to force people to fight for him.
Apparently Daddy Dearest wasn't the great king that you thought he was.
That bow was the last thing he ever gave me.
Then you'll have to console yourself with memories. And the knowledge of what
terrible ruler he turned out to be. Ditto.
She's wicked, that one.
Those lords can't even find the pointy end of their spear.
Well, they still stand a better chance than I ever will.
You cannot give up like this.
Need some self-belief.
You have.
I'm the Bear King. I face Mordu. I can handle whatever the southern invaders throw at us.
Well, that aged like milk.
Unless you want.
Is it Ruby? Damn! They're bringing everyone back.
I feel like I haven't been in. And at first I thought it was because of the curse, but now that it's been broken, because you're the only one of your kind here. Maybe.
She that just chooses to go back.
But we did manage to grow this.
Oh.
It doesn't mean I'm not gonna miss you. Not as much as I'll miss you.
Fuck Granny, I guess.
That belonged to him? Yes.
Oh yeah, she can just snip it out.
You don't need magic to hunt the killer down.
Cool. This worked out well, didn't it?
I'll help your friend. I'm gonna sniff him out.
Is it going to be someone we know, or just like a random person?
Have you already forgotten everything I taught you?
You brought me out here to keep me from the fight. Dad put you up to it, didn't he?
Merida.
Oh.
Out of my way! Oh.
Oh, well. Noble warrior Mulan got pushed over.
Well, clans Dunbrook, Macintosh, Singwall, and MacGuffin!
And absolutely no blood, so that's good.
I am not gonna miss this fight.
You are going to miss your target. That was unfortunate. Is it like Arthur or someone? I feel like it's someone we know, is it? You little bitch. I thought it was him.
Certain the helm's here. We heard rumor of magic in these lands, so landed here in the hopes I could finally complete my sword.
So why did you not have the helm then?
It's true. You killed my father.
The helm Fergus was wearing when he died wasn't enchanted.
What?
It was a piece of iron
Ah.
polished to a shine. When I put it on to rally my men, it didn't do anything. We
So he
lost
was
the battle.
brave in a way.
Dad must have thrown the helm he got from the witch into the sea before the battle began.
I've already killed Dunbrook's king. Now it looks like I'll have to kill its queen.
This guy.
You have no idea the dark path you sent me down.
I've been down plenty of my own. It's the burden of wearing a crown.
I blame myself for my dad's death when I really should.
None of you are wearing crowns. Oh! Ha! Nice.
Sleeping powder.
Use the same trick on her.
She used it on me. How do you like it now, witch?
And I will cut you down just like your father.
God, you're on arse, aren't you?
And you look like a porcupine.
Aha! If you could do that, couldn't you just teleport the helm with you?
You were willing to give up your crown for the good of the kingdom. Give up your life to get that helm. If you're not fit to lead the clans, no one is.
Well, hopefully she is then, otherwise you're all fucked.
I'm going to destroy it.
Are you sure that's wise to you? Merida?
You could just make another one, couldn't you?
King Fergus came to me asking for magic to ensure the future of his kingdom. And that's exactly what I gave him.
Getting the helm back made me understand what it takes to rule.
It's a complicated
Your
lesson.
magic's never very direct, is it?
Gets the job done. One cup of this can summon the spirit of anyone who's passed to the underworld.
I'm down.
I'd still be licking my chops in that witch's cottage.
Yeah, let's not pretend the witch is a decent person for all this.
When I finally worked up the courage, it was too late.
She was pregnant.
I might not be the best person to ask for dating advice. I kind of ate the only boyfriend I've ever had. Yes, I think think that disqualifies you. Maybe I can help. Come with me. Maybe helping someone else find their path will help you with yours.
New ship.
Thank you.
Don't waste that. It's good ale.
I just want to make you proud, Dad.
You already have.
Apart from when you miss Arthur and allow me to die. Oh, off he goes. Fourth ghost.
Arthur! You have no idea what's coming for you.
Oh boy. Okay, a really great episode. I've really enjoyed that. It was cool to see some characters again I feel like we haven't seen in a long while with Mulan and Ruby. I feel like it has been quite some time since we saw them. So that was really cool to revisit them, bring them back, and get more focus on Merida, that backstory, a bit more of Arthur and Zelina, that kind of pairing. I do feel like placement in the season-wise was odd to come right after the big revelation. It seems bizarre. That you wouldn't want to continue exploring the Hook reveal in the very next episode. Even if they like place this maybe a bit earlier in the season, I'm not sure. But you know, it's not that much of a detriment to the episode really, because it's still very enjoyable. And yeah, I really enjoyed the pairing of Zelina and Arthur actually together. I think they bounce off each other quite well. I feel like Arthur can be very set in his ways, very reserved, very rigid, and Zelina's very, you know, out there and magic-y, all that kind of stuff. And yet the dynamic I think works quite well. They feel like bickering siblings a lot of the time, and I feel like that's a very good energy for them and a different kind of dynamic, I guess, for villains teaming up to have. So I enjoyed their little shenanigans, trying to zip about all over the place, and the fact that they are still kind of filling in some gaps. Because obviously we know Merida ended back up in Storybrooke because Emma was kind of using her to train gold and everything. And this seems to be the story of how Merida gets back involved with Arthur and all that lot in Camelot, and that's why she gets taken back as well. She's not just at home somewhere. So that's cool to kind of get an idea of where that's coming, and the fact that it ended with Merida, you know, wanting revenge on Arthur for killing her dad. And that reveal I thought was well done. The way Once Upon a Time was very classically always tied these different storylines together in really cool different ways. So the fact that it was Arthur, you know, who it was his army that Fergus was fighting in the battle when he died, how that all kind of came together, really well done. And again, a lot of patience on the writer's behalf to like save those reveals until they feel the need to get to it. You know, they could reveal that that was Arthur ages ago, but it wasn't until they actually properly showed Fergus in flashbacks and the dealings with the witch and everything. The whole journey I thought was very well done, very clever, as the writing on Once Upon a Time often is. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, seeing Merida's interactions with Mulan way back when, and her journey of kind of realising what a hero should be, and the thing with like the helm and the magic that had on the influence over people, her doubting was her dad really a good leader after all. That's feeding into her own insecurities about everything, because it seemed everyone was in like the clans and stuff were kind of against her winning the throne when she did what she did with the competition and stuff. So the fact that they also kind of came around to her by the end of this episode because she was willing to give up the crown to save the overall kingdom. That was a cool little journey that those characters went on as well. So she has like this whole army behind her, just because she deserves it, just as Fergus earned the respect from everyone in his kingdom on his own terms. He didn't use magic in the end to kind of get that. And that was really cool. And I think Merida being able to see like Fergus's spirit and everything in that final scene, that was really nice and well done. And I think it brings some closure to that as well. I'm sure Merida was always kind of eating away at herself for not being able to quite save her dad there. So to find that, you know, he is proud of her and he was there in a way to witness her becoming queen. It was a really nice kind of conclusion to that little arc. And just a great way of Once Upon a Time taking like a Pixar film or whatever and then expanding the story a bit like they did with Frozen last season. Obviously, some of that is a bit like up in the air because of Frozen 2 coming out since then, but it hasn't been a Brave 2, so you can kind of imagine that this is how that story was kind of continued. So I enjoyed that, and seeing characters like Merida's mum and everything pop up. I feel like the actress was like very young. I thought anyway. I thought they cast that quite young for the mother. But, you know, it's fine. A bit of makeup and everything. They kind of solved it. And the actress was good. So, yeah, the whole story with her I thought was pretty interesting. Again, a very odd point in time, I think, to do this story. But I guess they want to set the stage for getting all the flashbacks they need to tell. They probably needed to explain why Merida would still be around in Storybook if she'd seemingly gone off on her own little quest after everything with Belle and stuff. This is how she's brought back into it, realising what Arthur actually did. Just makes him seem even more like an arsehole, so continuing to push him being like the big villain of this arc, so I like that. And yeah, everything that I thought was pretty interesting. And then Fergus making that deal with the witch, her coming back from like an IOU. That whole setup, I don't know if that landed for me, the fact that the witch was just like, oh, I just wanted a happy customer, and, you know, it was all actually just about showing you what it truly is like rule the kingdom. I guess she's part of that kingdom, so she does want it to have a good ruler, so she was kind of satisfied to see Merida go on that journey, but the fact that she wasn't actually like curse everyone and stuff, it seems strange considering it seems to kind of go against a bit what the witch was like in the film, and also it feels like the witch in that final scene revealing what she was really plotting all this and what she really threatened the kingdom over was actually like a good thing ultimately. And in the same episode, like, oh yes, she's trapped and forced Ruby to be her werewolfy slave for God knows how long. And we're supposed to be like, oh yes, she's good in the end. That felt a bit bizarre to me. It felt like there was two separate characters, but they weren't. So I don't know if the writing for that particular character quite gelled for me. I don't think that quite landed ultimately, the big reveal. I don't mind it, but I feel like maybe they just needed to have Ruby in this episode, maybe for some reason. I mean, it's good to see her, but did they just need a way for them to be able to track down Arthur again with Mulan? And they thought Ruby would be a good way to do it, or they just wanted to get the actress back. The actress was available again, or something. I think I've had a few comments telling me that, you know, she wasn't around that much in recent seasons or whatever because the actress was like busy doing other things or whatever. So maybe it was just the only time they could get her, so they thought they'd bring her into a story then. But the fact that they made the witch do that to her and then she's also doing something good, it didn't feel like a consistently written character to me. It didn't feel in line with like the character we saw in the film, and, you know, in that kind of final little scene where it all gets revealed that, you know, what did she really gain out of that contract ultimately? I don't know. It didn't quite land for me, but that's fine. I didn't hate it. It allowed us to have like an emotional moment, I guess, with Fergus's spirit and everything. It just didn't seem true that the witch would strike that deal and ultimately not really get much out of it, but she's still satisfied by it, and like putting a deadline on it doesn't seem to make a load of sense to me now. And I don't know, I guess maybe it's a nice contrast to like Rumpelstiltskin and his contracts, maybe that's what they were going for, but yeah, I just felt the character was kind of inconsistently written in this one. But yeah, then getting Mulan back and Ruby, great to see them, getting some insight into why Ruby may not have been around for story reasons lately, because she actually went back to the Enchanted Forest to find more of her people, but ultimately that was for nothing, so that's a shame. But it was cool to see her again, catch up with her a bit, fill in more and more gaps, as this season has been doing with like the Camelot flashbacks and everything. So while it did mean there were quite a few like 2 years ago, and now we're back in the present, 2 years ago we're back in the present, that felt a bit like, whoa, okay. I still think it flowed fairly well. I think they did a good job with that, to add a bit more to Ruby's story and explain why she may not have been around. Maybe a goodbye with Granny in that flashback scene before she went would have made more sense than maybe with Snow White, but I don't know. Anyway, it was cool to see her back, and potential cool story stuff with her and Mulan maybe now going off on adventures. I'd like to see that episode, please, because hello. That was great, and yeah, the way they brought Mulan back into it, I think they definitely served that character well. It'd been too long because Mulan is beautiful. So I'm always happy to see her show up. And the fact that she's kind of a bit burned, because I think the last time we saw her was the whole thing with Aurora, her feelings for her, and ultimately, you know, that wasn't going to work out because she was pregnant. So the fact that kind of really burned her, and she kind of closed herself off from people, and she just became kind of against, you know, purposefully in terms of the story, against what the character normally represents. So it was cool to kind of see her through helping Merida out realise the error of her ways in terms of how she's been living her life. She hasn't been kind of dealing with her heartbreak in the healthiest of ways, and now she maybe can move forward, going off with Ruby, helping her on her quest, because helping Merida on hers ultimately changed her mind about things and did her good at the end. So she can maybe repeat that process with helping Ruby out on her journey. So that was really cool. I liked Mulan's little arc in this one, just seeing her be a bit of a badass and stuff. Her introduction was great. So bringing back those characters we haven't seen in a while, I'm very, very happy that they did that. That was cool. And yeah, overall, another really, really enjoyable episode. I had a lot of fun with this one. Placement in the series-wise, I feel like it was strange. And The Witch was a bit inconsistent for me, but everything else I really loved. It was cool actually seeing like a live-action Fergus like that. I think they rounded off his arc and his death and everything really nicely. Tying Arthur and everything into the Brave lore with that battle, I thought was very well done. And the idea of like Merida journey to learning what a leader's going to be like, and that tying into Mulan, kind of finding more peace with her heartbreak was really fun. Bringing some characters back like that was great. Zelina and Arthur, I think, bounce off each other very well. I love that villain dynamic. And just getting some more gaps filled in is always very satisfying. So yeah, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing where they're going to take things next, because I was quite keen to see the Hook reveal explored, and it is a bit bizarre that they didn't do that again in the next episode. Even if they did another episode as like a fallout to that and then did this one, I don't know, but can't change it now. But regardless, it was a really good episode, and I look forward to seeing where this arc continues to go. But until my next reaction, thanks for watching.